Alright, and welcome everyone to this brand new Let's Play. SpeeDMan here, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So, see a little bit of land. This might be a pretty good spot for us to check out. And lobster. Interesting. Well, a triple lobster spawn. So basically this is taking advantage of the Secretax Ocean mod. So this adds quite a few different particular types of resource tiles, including kelp forests, which once we see them, we'll get into that. With Kupe's abilities, as we can see here, we see some very, very nice abilities. So with Kupe's Voyage, this allows us to get some advantages while we are in the transit towards making our first ever city, aka our capital. So we get our science and culture as we are getting set up. We also, once we settle our palace, we'll get some very, very nice benefits. So first, we will get our population available. We begin the game in the ocean tile, so there's a benefit here that's a little bit further down with mana, and also the fact that we receive +3 housing and 1 amenity in the capital building. And what we are also going to be doing is the No Campus Challenge. So we are not going to be building a single campus this game. So we are going to be avoiding that, so we are going to need to get our science in other ways. So as you can see here with the Sanctuary, you can see that you're going to be getting science and gold bonuses for charming tiles, and if you have breathtaking tiles that are unimproved as well, then you can actually end up getting science, gold, and production. So very, very helpful. As we can see here, this is quite a ways off, but we're going to go ahead and just get started and make our way over. I'm going to go ahead and get started on astrology. It's also important because it'll eventually allow us to get access to the harbor, which is another very, very important particular district that we will be using. You can actually go ahead and immediately set up, and boom, just like that, we have access to 2 more tiles and immediately can actually get growing. So we're going to go ahead and focus on food growth. Very, very important to focus on food while you can early on so that way you can get those benefits. These are unimproved tiles. So what's going to be very, very helpful is the fact that they're going to be unimproved tiles with a good amount of production. So if we need to mainly focus on production, we can do so pretty safely. What we're going to do though is we are going to consider doing one of these other ones. So I may consider going ahead and getting a fishing boat here, and then I would say a fishing boat there, or we could do a fishing boat there if we want to get a nice amount of gold output. So we have quite a few nice options. First thing we want to go ahead and build though is potentially going to be considering, I would say, we want to try to get something to explore with. So we're going to get a scout first. This warrior here is also going to be helpful though, so we're going to use that as a means to do some exploration. Here, discovered. Here we go. So that is the first kelp forest for us to find. So the way a kelp forest works is basically, if you move into that, it is going to have a 2 movement cost penalty. It does, however, have a nice little benefit here with the extra food there. So that is very useful as you're playing later in the game. So if we continue on our exploration, Himiko is definitely not a bad one. Definitely, so from a city-state standpoint, Himiko is extremely beneficial because you can actually use her specifically to start putting in free envoys. That will definitely be a nice thing for us. The next place we want to go ahead and get set up is going to go here. And then we're going to go ahead and move over here. And so that way we get set up, we have plenty of science output and we have a lot of incentive. We can see here, this is a fantastic setup to start with. 2 tiles here with a very good surplus of food. The minimum food you need for any particular population filling a tile is 2 food for it to be basically breaking even. So any surplus of food and or other resources is always a benefit. We've found our first city-state, Auckland. This is one of the best city-states for us to have possibly found. Unfortunately, somebody else found it, which is okay. However, what I could do is eventually work on Himiko. Once we get ourselves once we get a monument going, then we can actually start doing our dedication towards Himiko, immediately bring her over, and actually put some specific utility in here. We can go ahead and plug our uses of that, and that way we can get immediate utility here. Get not only full scaling with envoys, but also allow us to just get ourselves set up so that way shallow water tiles that we own will be giving us extra production. So all of these tiles here, not ocean tiles of course, but all of these coastal tiles will be getting an additional production. What that means is we'll have like 2 production tiles here, we'll have some nice 1 production tiles, and that's well before we even set up our first harbor. what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to actually work on getting Pingala into the capital. So normally I would save a governor title for a secret society option. However, getting one this early allows me to actually go ahead and work on Pingala, because that is a very, very good one for us. And that'll play directly into what our game plan is. Getting that in 5 turns is going to allow us to get more culture and science. And that is a very, very important thing for us to be getting more of, especially this early in the game. That looks like that might be a wonder.
The natural history.
Yes, it is, and that's a wonder we need to get to. We need to get to there at some point fairly soon. So that is going to be a potential settlement location. I'm going to go ahead and set up a marker for that. And let's see here. City center there. Harbor there. And if that is a safe spot there, commercial hub there. And that's a nice little setup that we can get started with, and that's going to feed us a ton of science. That's really good. Look at the science in that tile there. So because there are 2 tiles of the Galapagos Islands in that spot, that's giving us double the value. There's Geneva, also a very good one. Cities earn additional science whenever you're not at war. That's something we may consider doing as well. Science output's going to be very important, so we're doing okay for now, but in the long term, that's something we want to think on. Let's go ahead and let's see here. Now that we have our setup here, I'm actually going to go ahead and do devotion to Himiko. That is going to be very good. Getting early suzerainty is also going to be beneficial. And we've met Johannesburg. Cities receive +1 production for every improved resource type. After researching industrialization, it becomes +2 production. So another very, very good one. Something we can think on. I'm going to go ahead and make my way back up north. What we're going to do is now bring Himiko all the way to Auckland, because we're going to go ahead and try to poach that. We can get that. That's going to give us even more production in all of these tiles, which is just going to bleed into even more benefits. So very, very, very nice that we consider that. Because we got that done, what we're going to do is just do another Holy Site prayers. That should get us closer to completion soon. So we're going to make our way back up there. And Wilhelmina. What we're going to do, though, is immediately consider trade. So since we've met both of them, we're immediately going to be focusing on getting trade opportunities moving along. So that's something we want to be doing. Alright, then now we have plenty of gold to work with, which is very, very good right now. What we could do, though, is right away buy a shrine. So shrine has not been touched. So right off the bat, buy that. Instantly have access to that, which is going to give us even more benefit. What it also does is going to get us even closer to getting set up with our religion. So this is very nice. And there's Yerevan. Interesting. There we go. We now have access to a great prophet. Not a bad thing at all. We're going to go ahead and consider. So Yerevan is a very, very nice one if we're trying to work on our religion in a specific way. Not really too worried about that. I'm not really doing anything like a religious victory, so it's not really necessary. Let's do, let's see here. She's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I bring those over and then start doing some hefty damage. I may actually potentially be able to declare a very good war here. I'm not going to be getting a lot of holy sites, so this isn't going to help us. That's not going to. Let's see here. Most of these honestly aren't going to be benefiting us. Reliquaries is going to be good just from a raw, like, faith and tourism standpoint, especially once we get relics and heroic relics going. So that's going to be very good. What we do want to consider is, so a couple things. I would say one of two things. So Lay Ministry is not bad. World Church is better though. we should be able to get the first world circumnavigation here. So if we cross that point there in the next couple turns, I think we'll have it. 1, 2, 3, and then that fourth one might do it. I think the fourth one just might do it. Now I'm gonna back off. Lost a unit, that's okay. 1, 2, there it is. So we did get a little bit of wasted air score, that's not a big deal. However, we just guaranteed a golden age, so that's going to be fantastic. So that is going to allow us to really focus on some heavy growth. So I'm quite happy with that. So the main one we're going to be going for is monumentality. So that is a fantastic one. The additional movement for builders can purchase civilian units with faith, and also builders and settlers are cheaper to buy with faith and gold. So 100% choosing that one. In terms of government types, we are going to be going for the classical republic. So not a bad one to consider. I also may consider oligarchy for now, just as a means to deal with the war that we're basically going through right now. So that is going to help us just a little bit.
If there are no mysticism.
Unfortunately lost the scout. That was a misplay on my part, so just gonna have to eat that and just deal with it. Did get another envoy, so we're gonna go ahead and plug that into Johannesburg. That way we get some nice benefits. In terms of our military situation, not a lot that we are able to do at the moment. It's a small military in that position, but it is one that can provide some benefits. Now, let's see. Where? Geneva's that way. Okay, so we need to bring Himiko over to Geneva. So that... gonna take some time, but it's definitely gonna be good. So this war here is basically just to slow Wilhelmina down just a little bit. And basically reduced her combat strength for not too much cost. You know, I don't mind utilizing basically a free military in order to do a little bit of damage here, just so that way we get utility out of it. Plus it also makes sure that she can't do anything with her extra production in her capital there. She won't be getting that benefit until I end the war. So these are just little ways for us to kind of just slow the AI down and kind of help speed us up just a little bit. Now we have some of this stuff done. We're going to go ahead and work our way into, I would say, potentially either mathematics, I think is a good one, because the naval unit benefit there. And then eventually what we could do is work on some of these other things. So for example, work our way through there, try to eventually get banking so we can get a lot more gold output, or more beneficially, eventually getting started on that. So mass production is going to be very, very good. Aha!
The poets have been mysteriously silent.
Drama and poetry is now completed, so we do have access to theater squares, so not a bad thing. Go ahead and make our way up this way a little bit. And they are blocking us from being able to do anything, which is really annoying. I need to set up on that tile, because this tile here is going to be very, very good for us science-wise. And these barbarians are completely, they are basically cock-blocking me right now. There we go. Let's get rid of that. We open up our position a good bit, and we get ourselves a very, very important Great Admiral, so that is good. Could have, I think, one more charge. It might have been the last charge. Let me see. That might have been. Yeah, that's fine. I'll wait till I get my next envoy and I'll just plug that in. That way I can get some extra science output, because we'll be in no more wars, so... There we go. happy to have a friend to work with, so that is going to be very good in the long term. Just having at least one positive relationship is going to be pretty good for us. It's an opportunity to start really making some nice money in the long term, so that is cool with me. What we're also going to do is eventually, at this point, as we get closer to the end of the classical era, the other civs will start to value diplomatic favor a lot more, so I'm going to start now saving. So I've gotten myself a pretty good amount of gold now, so I'm pretty happy with that. But before, it was a lot more pertinent. Now it's not the end of the world. Excellent. So we are getting some very, very nice gold right now, so that's good for us for a number of reasons. Primarily the fact that we can get a lot of our general infrastructure completed and done in our little cities and really kind of just moving along. So I'm pretty happy with that. Also, we can get more purchases done. So it's good for us. We can continue to develop our empire. Ooh. A settlement there actually might be really good. Hold on. Settle there. Get access to horse tiles. Then place harbor there. Commercial hub here. Oh yeah, that's good. Okay. Break that off and then move here. Immediately get set up so I can do some attacks. There we go. Do a little bit of damage and then get rid of that, basically. So it's going to give us a little bit of era score. So we are 4 era score away from the normal age, which is good. That just allows us to make sure we're not going to have to deal with pressure in the long term. We can also immediately get started on getting that first harbor. Get that first harbor up and running and really have a decent little city that we can get moving along with. So that is good. Plus, it's going to start connecting some of our cities a little bit more, which at the end of it all is really what we want to be doing. Definitely going to need the gold right now, so I'm just going to make some of these small deals to allow us to basically get some of this positioning set up the way I want. What we're also going to do is keep working on this harbor, try to make this area a little bit safer. The more that we can get rid of these barbarian camps, just basically the easier it's going to be for us to get set up here. Capital has gotten that done. Good. So what we're going to do is, we can see here, conversion happening soon. Not a bad thing. Trying to get more conversion potential happening is going to be good, because then just spreading us out a little bit more is going to benefit us. Settlement there is going to be important. That way we can get set up in the long term, so I'm going to have to work on that eventually. We are in a fantastic position with this episode. If you enjoyed watching this video, I'd ask you to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching and enjoying the series. SpeeDMan out.